Hi guys, William here. Today I'll be doing a review of the Logitech tablet keyboard for the Android and also the Logitech tablet keyboard for the iPad. So you see I actually bought two versions of the same keyboard because I want to see what the difference is on between these two keyboards. Now they're both Bluetooth, so what that means is that these keyboards actually both work on your Android or iPad device. So for example, if you have an iPad, you could use the Android version of this keyboard and it would still work. Vice versa, if you have an Android device, you could use the iPad version of this keyboard and it will still connect and you'll be able to type no problem. Now what's missing will be the macros, and in this video we'll be looking at the macros and see how it behaves if I pair, say, the keyboard for iPad onto a Nexus 7 or onto a PC versus, say, if we use the Android version of the keyboard and pair it to the iPad and to the PC. So we'll compare that today and definitely get to the bottom of this debate. Alright, so to start, I actually synced up the iPad keyboard to the Nexus 7. So what you see is the Nexus 7 here, and this is the iPad keyboard, and the one in front is the keyboard for Android. Now if you go to their webpage, you can see their layouts. What does boggle the mind is that the picture shown on the package for the Android 3.0, the layout is actually different from the actual layout of the keyboard. So that may be a little misleading for some people. So I would recommend you go to their official website and check out their specification before you decide on which version you want to buy. Okay, so enough of that, let's go into the video, or sorry, let's go into detail for the keyboard. So I'm going to turn my Nexus 7 on, and I'm just going to do my now you know my lock screen. Just open that. Okay, so when I opened it, so let's look at the keyboard itself. So for the keyboard, I'm just going to take it off and let you guys see what the keyboard has. So we're going to knock the light so we can see what's going on. Okay. Alright, so the keyboard has an FN key and it has a bunch of macro key on top here, and in front here you can see for the iPad, this is used to start the slideshow, this is to show the keyboard, this is to go to a previous music track, this is to play and pause the track, this is the forward track, volume, I think mute volume, and volume up, volume down, and the lock screen. So right over here, okay? And on the bottom here you have the specific command key for the iPad, so you can use that to do copy and paste and all that funky stuff you do on your iMac or on your iPad. So let's see what happens if I press this key, which is supposed to be set for the iPad, and see how Nexus 7 and Android device correspond. So you see there's actually no difference. Now what if I press the other side here? If I press the key over here, the magnifier, it actually go into Google Now. This is the Google Now screen. So you can see that. Ooh. Okay. Alright, so that's that. Now if I were to use some of the FN functions here, for example FN1, I'm not too sure what it does. It actually doesn't do that much. If you look at the screen here, it just goes into the Google Now screen and doesn't do anything whatsoever. Okay. Vice versa, if you use FN2, once again it doesn't do anything on the Android device. What about FN and slideshow? We want to toggle the slideshow. Does it do anything? Let's see. Nope, it doesn't do anything whatsoever. Okay, what about FN to show the keyboard? Oh, sorry, keyboard here. No difference whatsoever. Now obviously the music player stuff will work, because that's a given, so I'm not even gonna bother showing you guys the volumes and the music controls, because they're supposed to work universally across all the different platforms. I will, however, show you FN lock screen, because actually it does work and it does lock the screen. So let me just steady my camera for a moment. Let me just show you there. FN lock. So that closed my screen. I press FN lock again. It opens my screen. So essentially, it's just easier way, another weird way of opening your screen. That's all. So that's kind of funky. Aside from that, what I do find interesting is that this key here, this key is used to simulate the key on the iPad, and it does go back to the home screen for the Android as well. So for example, if I were to go into whatever page, let's say I'm looking at the weather and I want to go back to the main page, I press this button here and voila, I'm back at the Android main screen. So for the Android, for the Android device, if you pair it with the iPad keyboard, this is essentially what you're going to get. So let me go ahead and pair this up with my Windows machine, my PC, and let's see how it fares, So just give me a moment and I'll be right back. Hello guys, and we're now back, and I've just synced up the iPad Logitech keyboard to my computer, which is running Windows 7 at the moment. So let me see what kind of function it can do. So to start with, I noticed that this one actually has a window key that works. So if you use the command button, your window key actually works. So you could use this iPad keyboard for Windows, for window purpose. So yeah, that's pretty sweet. Didn't know that works. And let's see if any other button works. So Alt key works as it should. Just for example, if I'm in Word, it brings up all the micro keys. So yes, it's pretty much the same behavior as your regular keyboard. Control keys the same good stuff. Now what does the search function do? Let's have a look. So search function actually brings up the Windows search menu. So that's pretty cool. So it does work as well. It's been mapped properly. Now does the home key from the iPad keyboard works? Let's have a look. So by pressing home key, you actually get a new web browser from Chrome. And well, yeah, apparently so. So you get a new browser, or actually you get set to Chrome. Okay, that's pretty neat. Alright, so let's try some of the FN keys. FN keys, let's see, F1. What does that do? Doesn't do anything. F2. Nope, doesn't do that much either. Let's try FN with, once again, the slideshow. Does that do anything for us? Okay, nope. So that's to explain, or that's to be expected. Let me just move all this stuff out of the way here. FN keyboard, does that do anything? Nope. Freaking keyboard. And FN media key, does it play? Let me just see. Nope, doesn't work. Let me open my media player and see if any of it will correspond. So where is the media player? Oh, do I even have media player? Windows. Okay, sorry guys, let me just quickly test that. So that's my music here, for example, and let me try a second. Okay, so now the media key works. Volume up, volume down doesn't work. Mute button does work on the iPad. And lock, nope, lock doesn't do anything. That's expected. So essentially you're just looking at a regular macroless keyboard. The only thing that actually works that's unexpected was this button here. The home button actually calls up Chrome, and this command button actually calls up window. Command button actually acts as the window key. So that's pretty neat. By itself, essentially this iPad keyboard can be used as a standalone keyboard. So that's very nice. So then we already see that the iPad keyboard can actually multi-function for Android, because this can go into Android main screen, and the command key can be used as Windows. So I think that's the main difference between the Android keyboard and the iPad keyboard. So let me just show you what I mean, because I actually tried it with my Android keyboard already. So let's put the iPad keyboard away for the time being, and let's use the the Android keyboard on Windows and see what happens, okay? So I'm gonna be right back. Okay guys, so we're now live again, and right now I just finished configuring my Logitech Android keyboard. So you're looking at the wireless Android keyboard right now, and I just hooked it up to my PC. So let's see how it performs. So before we start, let me just quickly show you what the difference is between the two keyboard here. For one thing, the FN key is placed in a different location, and now you have, instead of the command key, which can be used for Windows, you now have a magnifier glass. And on this side here, once again, instead of the command key, you have the go back to Android home button, and you have a back button. And then now you have, instead of the browse or search button, you have the list button here. So when you press this gives additional information on the menu for Android tablet. But let's see how it performs on PC environment. So let me just set up my camera here for you to make sure we get the max view, and off we go again. Okay, how is that? Okay, so to start with, I'm going to look at the browse key and see if it actually behaves the same way as the iPad keyboard I just tested. So let me press that. So yes, it does once again bring up the search menu. So once again, we're looking at the browse key here. So it does bring up the search menu. Okay, so I'm going to close that, and we're going to look at the home key and see what it does. The home key in this case actually opens up the web browser. Much like the home key here for the iPad, it also opened up a web browser for me. So I'm thinking these two are pretty much the same button, just map at a different location. Let me try the back button, which in this instance was the Alt button. So let me go to a Word document and see if I can bring the Alt button back. So actually it doesn't do anything. Let me see. However, this Alt button here actually replaced the function. So this Alt button works, no problem. Okay, so with that being said, let's move on to the list here, the list button. So let me see what happens. Does it do anything? Let me just get into Windows itself. Nope, doesn't actually do anything whatsoever. So you can see already there's a lot of wasted macro already if you move from the Android to PC. So that might be something you'll watch out for if you're trying to decide which version to buy. So FN, let me try the FN buttons now. FN buttons, so FN1. Okay, so it doesn't do anything. Once again, FN1 just inputs this. FN2. Okay, FN2 doesn't do anything either. FN2. Nope, doesn't do anything. FN3, which in this case is macro to open up the email app. So what does it do? It doesn't do anything. In fact, it pulls up a search window for G. I didn't press anything, I just put this and it opened up a search window. So FN key for email is not working. FN key for browser also doesn't work. It once again brought up the search menu. FN for the calendar once again brings up the search menu. So actually I'm going to try to drag it over so it doesn't always appear right there. Music, nope, doesn't do anything whatsoever. Forward back, doesn't do anything, nope, nope, nope. Key, volume up, volume down. Okay, so there's a hidden macro here. So if you press FN0, well, it's not really hidden because on the Mac version of the keyboard, it's mapped as a mute button. Just like in this instance, it doesn't show as mute, so that's kind of gay. Other than that, none of these buttons works. Let me try FN delete, see what that does. Nope, doesn't do anything to the Android, or sorry, to the PC platform. So if you want to use your Android keyboard as an alternative to your PC keyboard, I would strongly recommend against it because it actually doesn't have a window key to start with. And yeah, none of these macros are actually particularly useful. I guess that's kind of shitty. Yeah. Well, other than for the sake of typing, which will be pretty much useful because that's the main function of the keyboard. Other than that, you can't really do much cross-platform. So that's very disappointing. Let me just link up this keyboard to my iPad 3 and let's see how it fares. So just bear with me, I'll be right back. Okay guys, William here. I am now back and I have just connected the Android version of this keyboard, the Logitech tablet keyboard, to the iPad 3. So let's see how it fares in terms of macro. Okay, let me just go back here. So this is my main screen here. Let's see what happened. To start with, let's try the browse key, see what it does. So browse key pretty much functions the same, so that's good to know. Alright, let's go back here. Let's look at the Android home key. Does that work? So let's say, for example, if I go to a different page and I press the Android home key. Okay, so that does work. That's pretty sweet. Let's look at any of these Android specific functions, see if that works. Nope. So by pressing the detail button for Android, you actually go into the search menu again. Let's see if the back button works for this. Let's say if I go into newsstand. Oh crap, doesn't work. Let's see if I go into music and I want to go back because I don't have anything. Nope, can't go back. Okay, so that doesn't work so well. But however, I'm happy to report that the home key does work. So the home key essentially is equivalent to this button here on the iPad version of this keyboard. Sorry. So let's see if any of the FN key works. Okay, so FN for email. Nope. Nope, doesn't work. Oh shit. FN for browsers. Okay. Nope. Just doesn't work. FN for calendar. Nope. Doesn't work. FN key for music. Nope, doesn't work. So as you can see, it's actually for each specific FN key, it actually brings up a different letter. For example, if I use this one for mail, it just types M into the search bar, which is kind of stupid. And if I use this one for internet, it'll put in G. Let's try the multimedia button, see if that plays. I don't think it'll play because I don't actually have any music in here. The mute button still works. As I said before, this, even though it's not shown, you can use FN0 to mute. And let me see if the other media key works. FN volume up, volume down. Okay, so that does work, no problem. FN delete. FN delete. Nope, doesn't work whatsoever. So I think we pretty much know which is the better keyboard or the more utilitarian keyboard out of the two. So for one thing, if you guys want to use, if you guys buy this keyboard to be used for multi-platform, such as say your Mac, say for your Windows or for your Android, I would still recommend the Apple version of the Logitech keyboard. It's kind of stupid, but like I said, for the Android version, it actually doesn't come with the Windows key, and that really takes the multi-platform away if you want to use this for your PC, and off chance that you ever need to use it. And when you use the Android keyboard for the iPad, actually a lot of macro that's missing. Whereas if you use the iPad, even though some of these actually they're pretty much in same in terms of macro, it's just that they both have a home key and they both have browse key, and other than that, there's everything else is pretty much, you know, not really, doesn't really need to be specific, because for some people they may have a different email client they want to use. They may not want to use the Gmail. They may have a different music application. They may not want to use Google Music. And, you know, maybe they hate Google Calendar. So right now, all of these FN keys will only open Google supported apps, which in my opinion is kind of useless because you cannot remap it yourself, and most people are using something that's other than Google apps at the moment. So that's kind of pointless and redundant. Seems like a lot of wasted space. Let's see, what else? One thing of interest, as I brought up earlier, is that the Logitech tablet keyboard for the Android 3.0, if you get a chance and have a look in the, say, your local computer shops, you see that the keyboard layout actually resembles that of the Apple version. Instead, however, they took out the window key, so they make it specifically for Android. So, which in my opinion is kind of stupid, because, you know, I'd like to have something that's cross-platform. You know, I don't want to buy this keyboard twice, one for iPad, one for PC and Android. That's just stupid. So for me, if I were putting down the money, I would put down the money for iPad. Now, even though, again, as I said, you might have some of the function that doesn't work, like the slideshow or the keyboard stuff, but if you think about what you're actually missing, it's actually not so much, right? If you think about it, like email, web browsers, and your MP3 player, you know, for the most part, people don't use that for their Android device anymore. For Android, most people use Dolphin browsers. For music, some people like to use their N7 players. Some people use their power amp, right? So, like, you know, no one actually uses the default. So, you know, if you're worried about losing those macros, then I can safely tell you that it's actually not much you're missing out. So that's pretty much all I really want to share in this video, and I hope you take away something from it. And yeah, if you have any questions or any experiment you want me to do, please let me know in the next 24 hours, because I'm planning to refund the Android version of the keyboard, because it's, you know, out of the two, I'm just going to keep the iPad keyboard for the multi-platform purpose. So this is William, and I want to thank you guys for watching once again, and I'll see you guys soon. Thanks. Bye. Hey guys, William here. I just figured out that I could actually link both of these Bluetooth keyboard together, and what I found was that on the iPad keyboard there's no escape key configured. So for example, if you're playing StarCraft and you want to have access to the menu and you press this button, it will just bring up the browser, and that's no good to anyone. But if you use the Android keyboard, then it will bring up the escape key. So just want to let you guys know that if you guys were thinking of getting the iPad version of this keyboard, you're gonna have to forego your escape key if you're gonna use it on if you're gonna use this keyboard, or if you're planning to use this keyboard on the PC. I'm not too sure if escape is actually used on the Android device. I don't know what it would be used for, but I'm a little bit torn now. So both device or both keyboard has a little bit of flaw. This one would have been perfect if you had the window key, because it's got the escape. Essentially, this one resembles closest to the Bluetooth keyboard. This one, however, does have the window key, but now it's missing the escape key, which may be used for some people. Like for example, if I use Excel, I like to use escape to move from cell to cell. Of course, you could always use directional pad, but that's just my preference when I do stuff. It's easier for me. So I can foresee this to be a problem. So I'm not too sure. Yeah, it really depends on what you want to do with your, like, what is your main function, right? So yeah, take it with a grain of salt. Maybe, you know, spending money on these overpriced keyboard may not be worth it. You might as well just get something on Amazon, such as this Pyrex keyboard, and you know, $34, and it comes with all the standard window keys, and it's supposed to work for, obviously it would, because it's Bluetooth, it will work for iPad, it will work for your PC as well. So that may be something to look into. Or you can look into this one here for NCX. This one here is the SMK Link VP6630, and this one is supposed to work for Mac and for Windows, supposedly. So I may be giving this one a shot after I return the keyboards here. So yeah, it's unfortunately Logitech had to try to differentiate between the two keyboards, and I just think it's kind of like a twisted marketing scheme to have that. It's, in the end, customer is going to pick whichever has more utilitarian purpose to them, right? So yeah, take it with a grain of salt and really go do your research before you commit to buy any of these. Because right now for the iPad version of this keyboard runs around $79 in Best Buy, and for the Android version I was lucky to get it for around $40 after price match. But I don't know, when I think about it, maybe it's not the best $40 spent on a keyboard like this, especially when it has a lot of glaring flaws. Yeah, it's really a shame. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. So thanks you guys watching again. Thank you guys for watching, and this is William. Take care.